Hey guys, it's time for Thursday Thoughts. It is long overdue. Haven't done one of these episodes in quite a hot minute, but listen, it's been a busy week and it also hasn't been a busy week all at the same time, but let's get into it. So this week has had its fair share of warfare. I would be lying if I said that this week started off all fine and amazing. Y'all know how y'all be doing good and everything and life is just on the up and up, and then all of a sudden, boom, it feels like it's just crashing out of nowhere. Like literally, I mean out of nowhere. I'm going to talk to you guys about what I mean by this in Weekend Recap next week. But this season of my life coming into December has kind of been a level of warfare that just really put me in a different kind of position as far as like prayer and worship. So last week was Thanksgiving break, fall break, and it was beautiful. As soon as I came home, I lost a friendship with a person I never expected. And it was over the stupidest reason. So here I am in December, the last month of the year, with this confusion, anxiety, and stress, and all the things that you don't want to carry into the last month of the year, because you're literally preparing for one year to end and another to start. So this is recent, like just last Saturday. So not even a full week. What do you do when you're at the last month of the year and you're trying to understand an unexpected shifting season? So in one thought, when it comes to me, I want to think the best and hope the best towards the situation and not jump to conclusions, especially because I don't know the motive behind all the things and what happened and why. But at the same time, I want God to make it so clear to me if this was his plan to disconnect me from a distraction and destruction. Multiple times I have been put in the place where I've lost somebody that I was good to. And in return, I got the short end of the stick, which makes me feel like there's something wrong with me, even though I know I didn't do anything. That is one of the hardest mind games, like to work through when you know that you weren't the problem, but it's like the situation and the people involved make you question your own loyalty because it's just that complicated. Very, very manipulative. So I've been doing a restudy on a sermon series from my second pastor, E. Smith. He did a series summer 2023 about new seasons, new levels, shifting in life. And I took lots and lots of notes throughout this entire series. And I'm glad I did, because rereading them throughout this week has been such a helpful reminder to me of kind of where I've been. So I'm gonna reread some of the notes to you guys and also kind of add in, what applies to my current season of life. So first point that I want to share with you guys that Pastor Smith made is that God can pull you out of any circumstance or situation of negativity and toxicity that has no benefit to your destiny. And like I just said, I want God to make it so clear to me, if what I experienced was a plan to disconnect me from a distraction and destruction. I feel like God has, in a way, because this person and I have not had any contact since then. And so I feel like in that regard, it is my answer. Another point by E. Smith during the series: life would be so much more peaceful and redemptive if people were willing to admit they messed up and take ownership. Oh my goodness. And that is so true. But even adding to that, like sometimes you have to forgive in your heart, even when you don't get an apology. And that has definitely been me this week. Next point: a shift is sometimes painful, but always purposeful. I would be lying if I said that I didn't cry. It was emotional because it was such a shock. But as this week has progressed, God has given me peace about it that is like unexplainable. Another point that really blessed me as I was rereading my notes: there is a blessing in brokenness. In the moment, it doesn't seem like it. But in the end, where you see, where God was trying to take you after that hard place, it definitely makes you more appreciative of, that roller coaster that you had to ride. A couple more points. We will find ourselves in a shift that we do not enjoy. Most definitely. Next point, we put ourselves in captivity when we try to understand the mind of God. When all of this happened, my mind was in a million different places, like all at the same time, because I'm struggling to understand, why out of all people would this happen to me? Because I'm one to always be good to people. I do good to those I love. I don't seek to be at odds with anybody, with a single living soul. And so trying to dissect piece by piece of why this happened has been literally messing with my mental space. And then some other questions that were brought up that were really good to reflect on. What happens when the people you didn't choose but God chose end up hurting you? Wow. Next question. When will we acknowledge the hurt that comes with the failed expectation or absence, all caused by people that we expected to leave last? And then next point, a lot of times what people do to you has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with the trauma they've experienced. And this also goes back to what I said earlier about the mind games, when you weren't the problem, but people make the situation so grand or complicated that it makes you start questioning yourself and your loyalty because it's just that complicated. And then another point that blessed me, when you have a better understanding of why you're being handled improperly, it helps you progress so that you don't become that to someone else. And also to add to that, regardless of whether or not you know why you're being mishandled, it should naturally encourage you to not become that to someone else. Because once you feel cheated, lied to, manipulated, betrayed, and everything else, you automatically understand the person you don't want to connect with, the person you don't want to become, and how not to pattern your life. God has taught me so much about forgiveness and recognizing that you don't need all the answers. And otherwise, if we did, then we wouldn't need God. When people leave your life and it's an unexpected thing and it's so abrupt with no warning, you are having a battle between theology and reality, because you don't know why it happened in reality, but theologically, you don't need to know why it happened. I know a lot of people have experienced friendship breakups in this season, especially after the election. That's really what made everybody go crazy. And I know for a fact that that was not the reason why this friendship frenzy occurred. But I just wanted to share my thoughts on where I've been. And I'll also talk about this next week in Weekend Recap. But this is just a space to put my current thoughts this week and encourage others to keep going as they navigate shifting seasons. But I love you guys so much. Have a great weekend. We will reconvene next week for Weekend Recap.